Hi, and welcome to the second episode of Locally Talented with Cameron and
Travis.
Awesome. We'll get better at doing that. Today we are joined by a very special guest. Now, I just want to say before we get started, going into this show, many of the guests we had lined up, we knew basically most of their life story. We especially knew the field that they were going in, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity to talk to this fella because the stuff that he's doing, I'm really enjoying seeing on like Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. And it's a field that I know nothing about, so I'm really excited to learn. So today we have Royce Reid with us today. Say hello.
Hi everyone, my name is Royce, and basically the field I'm in is the fitness industry. So I'm a personal trainer, and I'm self-employed, so I don't work under anyone at the moment. I guess run my own gig, get my own clients, and that's me. Um, yeah.
Awesome, great. Yeah, so Royce went to high school with both Travis and I. Especially I was in Royce's home group all throughout high school. And other than that, though, we kind of lost contact. I don't think I saw much of you through college. But then
No.
I've been keeping up with what you've been doing on social media, and it's just sorry, there's a bit of fluff on my microphone. It's been really inspiring to watch. I know we talked about kind of the business on Facebook a little bit, but it's really it's just been really interesting to see what you've been doing. So first, I think I want to ask, how did this come about? How did it start? Was this always the plan? And yeah, just how did
Um,
we get here?
yeah, well, the thing is, I guess I never really had a plan in place. I guess all through primary school and high school, everyone like had this idea of what they wanted to be, but I didn't really have any idea at all. And the idea of studying at university kind of scared me a lot because I just had no clue. Like, if I was to choose a uni course, I'd have no idea what I wanted to do. So, starting through primary school and high school, I was always into sports, I guess you could say. So I played, your football, a bit of tennis and badminton here and there. But I never took it seriously enough that I thought about creating a career out of it. And then when I got to college, which was when I was 16, that's when I decided to take my fitness a bit more seriously. And I started to work out 3 or 4 times a week and look after my diet a bit better. And that's when I started seeing physical changes as well. So I was getting stronger, I had more confidence, and that kind of set me on a path that made me want to be like, hey, maybe I could help do this for other people too. Like the feeling that I've gotten, would I be able to get this for someone else too? And that's kind of what inspired me to start studying for my certificate 3 and 4 in fitness. So now I'm able to instruct people to uh, safely undertake fitness programs, and I can train them in accordance to what they want to achieve. So I guess that's how I got to where I am now. I had no real clue of where I wanted to go, but I had this feeling of what I achieved and how great that felt to me. And I thought I could replicate that and help put that into other people too. For that, no, not only physical confidence, but that mental self-confidence as well, which is both so important. Mm.
As Cameron mentioned, you're like fairly active on social media. What
Mhm.
I remember so distinctly when you first started this fitness journey because you were pretty active on Facebook at the time.
Mm.
What made you want to start sharing your journey online?
Um, I guess one part of it was a little bit of ego, not gonna lie. I was pretty proud of what I'd achieved. It's like, but transitioning away from that, I stopped posting more about me and how I could actually help other people with it too. So it's not only like this is what I'm doing, it's like this is what you can do to help get the same results.
Yeah.
Um, So originally, that's why I started posting. I guess that self-confidence was a huge boost for me because I was never someone who'd post on social media. But now it's like, hey, I've got something that I'm pretty proud of, so let's get it out there and maybe someone else will be inspired to start too. So that was the reason I started posting on social media, really. And then over time, you might have seen it's progressed away from what I was doing and more towards what my clients are doing now.
Yeah.
So it's just a shift of focus and away from me and more on the people I'm trying to help. Mm.
Awesome. And dude, you should definitely be super proud of your progress. Like I
Thanks.
remember in high school, and I was hoping you could actually talk about it a little bit as well.
Yeah,
When you've built such an excellent physique, and anybody who wants to check it out can check it out on your socials. But in high school, like you were super active in sport, but you weren't always the biggest guy around. So like how like especially I guess from the diet perspective, how have you gone about um like building your physique, and has it been a struggle to actually put on size, especially like you're mainly focused on like calisthenics sort of stuff, aren't you?
yeah. So I'll go back to the high school part and then I'll work towards the end of high school. So I guess, as you said, I was kind of like the smaller guy there. I was always into sports, but I wasn't very athletically strong, I guess you could say. So that was one other motivator for me to start getting a little bit stronger was playing football. You come against a lot of bigger guys, and I was so used to getting knocked around and getting bruises all the time. It wasn't much fun. So that was one motivator for me to start exercising was the fear of getting hurt during exercise because I was so light. As I said, you get knocked around a fair bit. And then working towards the diet perspective, I have found it hard to put on weight. It's not necessarily, a lot of people blame their metabolism being too fast or too slow for weight gain and weight loss. But it's mainly just because I was so active on a day-to-day basis that my body just naturally used a lot of energy in comparison to someone who was more sedentary, for instance. So I found creating the time to eat lots of food was a huge struggle because I was such a small eater, obviously being like a small frame dude, going from the transition of like, oh, like a couple of meals a day that aren't very big in size to eating 5 or 6 meals a day that are proportionally a lot bigger. It's like, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought it'd be. But you get into a habit of setting your meal plans and planning out your day the day in advance. And that helps heaps with trying to stay on top of how much you need to eat and what you need to eat as well. Mm,
Yeah, it's a crazy thing because no, like I feel like for people that's sort of looking in from the outside of the fitness industry,
mm,
uh, people like trying to lose weight. That's always a big focus, but nobody ever
mm,
talk. Like it's a lot harder to find people that talk about how hard it is to put on weight.
correct. Mm. It's a very, there's a huge focus on weight loss, which is important. Like, don't get me wrong. Both, but there's both sides to a coin, you know. So, I guess putting off weight, there's the same implications as there might be as someone trying to put on weight. And there's been a lot of recent activity on social media over the last, I'd say, 3 to 4 years of not only obese people, but people who are far too underweight. And now we're getting this combined effort of um, dietary solutions to help people on both parties. Um, uh, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say on that topic. Um, yeah.
No, that's
Mm,
that's really interesting. I guess that was just never something I would have been privy to. I guess
mm,
I was scrawny in high school, definitely, but I don't know. Just naturally, I'm now pretty big. Um, and I will say 100% Alara and I have started to try and do some working out, and you were the inspiration behind that. I was
oh,
like,
wow, really?
I'm talking to Royce soon. I should probably start doing something.
That's amazing. I love to hear that. It's so
Yeah,
good.
no, it definitely
Mm,
was you. I
yeah.
want to talk for a second. Um, Something that just came to my mind. You you shift focus to um showing off your clients now.
Mm.
on social media, and I know a big place that you go is Royal Park. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I go down there occasionally. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, switch between a few different
yeah,
parks in Launceston.
and sometimes I also see buildings. So I was like wondering, do you rent places out, or what's the process
Yes.
there? Like, how do you work that kind of stuff out?
Yep. So, as a personal trainer, if you're self-employed, your role is either to work outside of your own facility, I guess you could say, or rent space in a facility. So, the way gyms work, if you're a self-employed trainer with your own brand, then you'll pay the gym rent to use their space and use all their equipment. But then you obviously have the flexibility to charge whatever you want. But if you are employed by the gym, then you would get a commission rate per client, and you'll be charged a flat rate, kind of like having a job. So you've got to take into account whether your business structure is strong enough so you can keep bringing in clients and you deliver enough service to give them quality service, or do you not want that responsibility and do you want the gym to find clients for you and you have that stability through a job and a payroll? So they're kind of the different factors that trainers have to take into account. Obviously, if you're self-employed, the payoff can be huge, but you have the risk of not having any work. So it's like, what do you want?
Yeah, that's
Mm.
interesting. Bouncing off that, how did it compared to what I had to face over here in the UK, but I'm sure it still hit you at its peak. What was COVID like?
So it actually wasn't too bad. There was a period there for a month or two because most of my training I actually do outdoors. I only rent a gym space for 2 classes a week. So I'm not paying too much in gym hire rent. So most of my stuff I do outdoors at parks. So when the parks became locally available again, I could just start up my training sessions again. So um, at a point in time, you could have a maximum of 2 people at an outdoor space at a time. So that could allow me to still do physical training at those outdoor facilities. Whereas if I was purely based in a gym, I would have been out of work for like, what, 6 to 7 months or so. So
Yeah, wow.
I got the good end of the stick really. So I can't complain too much at all. And not only like with the business, I actually had a part-time job as well. So financially, I was pretty secure personally.
Okay, well that's lucky. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just quickly thrown in. So with winter on the coming up, you
yes.
mentioned that you train at mostly outside facilities. How does winter normally treat you?
Not too bad, honestly. Most of my clients have pretty good values, and they associate their training like with their values, so they see it as very important to them. So the cold, I guess, like they get past the cold and say like, right, this training is far more important than me being cold for 45 minutes. I'm gonna get warm anyway, so I'm gonna go do my workout, then get a hot shower in when I get home. So personally, I don't mind the cold too much. Um, and most of my clients don't mind it either. Whereas if they don't see the value from training, then no one's going to be inclined to go out and do it, are they? Like if I'm going to go for a walk at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's freezing cold. I'm not going to do it if I don't see the walk as being important to me. But if that walk is really important to me, like this is going to help me attain or work towards this certain goal I have, it's like, okay, I've got to go do this walk because it's going to be super important and help me work towards what I want to do. So I guess associating the goals you have as being more valuable to you as a person, it's going to be more intrinsically motivating for people to do the training. So the cold or the hot or the heat, sorry, doesn't make too much of a difference to the business side of it for me. Mm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
So talking about your goals and values, I guess. What
Mm.
are some things that you always keep with you? Some of your values that have helped you through your journey and your ever continuing journey with your own physique and also building your business.
Honesty. Honesty is a huge one. If you aren't speaking truthfully to all your clients and saying it how it is and giving them the best possible truth that you can, then they're not going to trust you. And you want to be able to have that trust and relation with say, per client. So you're building a foundation with them so they can trust you. What you tell them to do, they're going to believe you, and they can go away with trust that, right, this person's actually going to look after me to the best of their ability. And I think that honesty system is just a huge one for me. Um, Off the top of my head, that's the most important one. Um, I can't really think of any others that would spring to mind other than that one at the moment.
I guess if you just have like one value with you, like at the very least one thing that you truly wholeheartedly believe in, that can be enough to really push you through.
Definitely.
Yeah, wow. So one thing I want to touch on, I'm not sure because I remember there was a YouTube channel at once, right? Once upon a time. Yeah. I definitely remember watching some of those videos. So I want to talk about social media and kind of your take on, is it helpful? How has it helped you? Is it a tool that you see yourself using more and more into the future as you grow this business?
Yep. So I think social media is absolutely huge, especially as personal training is going further and further online nowadays. When people typically think of a trainer, they think about going into a gym, training with a person, and they just yell at you for 45 minutes. That's not how it is at all. So, as part of the job, it's not only to train people, but it's to help coach people. So it's like, what are your habits through a day-to-day life, and how can we improve those habits to get you a better result? Sorry, I just had a notification pop up. But going back to social media, sorry. With my personal training business now looking to go online in the future, so how that would work, for instance, I would give people a training program. I would do like a Zoom call once a week with them for 5 to 10 minutes just to catch up on, how was your training this week? What did your nutrition look like? These goals we set out for you to complete this week, how did you go with them? What can we improve for the next week? That's the sort of coaching experience that most clients get nowadays, instead of just you rock up for 45 minutes, do a training session, and just see you later. So moving online, the promotional aspect for a business and to show what you do for your clients is so important, like the branding aspect of it. Because most people, like as a personal trainer, most people don't have their own studios. As I said before, most people rent out their own space. So having an online platform where you can showcase what you do with each individual client and what you do to help those clients is so important. So I think without social media, I would be struggling more than I am now. So I think and moving forward as well, the more results you get for people and the more ways you show you can help them, the bigger your business is going to grow. So I think social media is a huge one for business growth.
That's awesome. So like talking about moving forward,
Mm.
um, I guess where would you like your business to go from starting from where it is now? Where would you like it to go? Do you want to incorporate more social media in, maybe reach more of a global audience, or like do you have sort of a plan to keep building?
So I guess my goal for now, you mentioned a global audience. That's kind of not what I want. It used to be what I want to achieve, but as your values change, your goals change too. So reaching millions of people isn't what I personally want to do anymore, and that might sound selfish, but that's not who I want to be. As a business, you got to decide, right, am I going to create this product that can help so many people, or get really good results for a certain specific population of people? So what we want to do, well, as a business, I'd love to hire more coaches to help people as one-on-one trainers. So I guess when you start to reach a wider audience, it's hard to help people individually, because you've got so many people. There's only so much you can offer for certain audiences, because it's like, if I give an example of, if I'm talking to one person, the chance of me saying something offensive to them is extremely low, because I'm talking to them one on one. I understand their barriers, what they like and dislike. If I speak to 100 people, and if I if my goal is to not offend one person, how am I going to be able to do that? If there's 100 different people of different personalities, it's just not possible. So I guess translating that to fitness, I can't give 100 people the same program because it's not going to be aligned to what they want to achieve. Our goal is to work specifically with people to deliver them a structured program, help them structure their own goals and what they want to achieve throughout week to week, so they can get the results that they want.
Yeah, wow. That's actually really really interesting that you say that. Because just before we started, we did have the conversation, Travis and I, about sure, like you mentioned ego before. A global audience would make us happy, but at the same time, we just want to talk with local people and get their voices across the local community. I swear on YouTube, nearly like each month there's a new dude in the ads preaching about like losing fat and stuff like that, and
they'll
they
say
wanna...
anything to get you in the books.
Exactly. But
it's unfortunate.
What you've basically just said, which is super humble, is no, I want to work with people and actually help them achieve their goals, which is really really great to hear.
There's a lot of online adverts that sell you this great dream of what you might be able to get for this great offer. But at the end of the day, you might go in, get a PDF file, and that's it. And you don't, and there's no outside help from the person that sold you this program. It's a cut and paste technique, but that's definitely not what we're about. We want to understand each client. You know, what does your family life look like? How stressed are you about work? What does your diet currently look like? How's your relationship with your kids? Like, what different stress? Like, there's so much to take into account. If I gave someone a training program for 5 times a week, they can only physically train twice a week, then I obviously haven't considered them well enough. So our pure goal is to understand each of our clients. And if we reached a capacity where we couldn't do that anymore and that we were too overworked, then I'd stop the books, stop my intake of clients, and then just focus on those clients, because that's our goal, to get the best results for each person we work with.
Honesty for the win. I love it.
So okay, in that case, just a hypothetical. So purely based in Launceston at the moment, would there be any future plans if it was affordable, if it was available, to expand and bring on more personal trainers under you to maybe
Definitely.
Hobart and other places within Tasmania?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, with the goal of taking training more online and taking it as a coaching online experience, the possibilities there are pretty much endless. So I could hopefully, if capacity grows and my name gets out there even further, I can employ anyone around Australia, and they could coach other clients from around Australia too. Currently, it is based in Launceston, and there is the possibility of employing a trainer locally to do face-to-face sessions. But realistically, I'd love to employ someone maybe outside of Tasmania to coach other people from different states, for instance. So, yeah, that's our goal there.
Yeah. Wow. Brilliant.
Awesome. Boiling down to sort of the whole point of this channel, really, and I feel like now is as good a time as any. Lonnie is really such a small space. I feel like it's really hard to network and sort of expand any sort of business. I feel like this doesn't apply to you as much because our main focus for this was originally people working in the arts, but obviously we just had to have you on because you are just doing so well. But I guess the whole point of this question is, do you feel limited by the area that you are in? And if you were in a more populated zone, do you feel like you would be able to network better to expand?
Honestly, not really. As weird as that might sound, because I am an outdoors trainer, I don't have the availability to promote my business through a gym. Um, as most personal trainers that rent out of a gym, they can advertise their brand through the gym, so they can have their business cards there. The gym can help promote their business to get them sessions, because obviously they want the trainers to keep renting the space, so they're going to help to try and fill their books. Whereas in my case, um, there's enough people in Launceston where I would be able to have a full book. But obviously where I say I could expand further than Launceston, so that's why I try and take the shift now from not only doing face-to-face training with my clients, but taking it to an online coaching experience. So that way I'm not too limited by my specific area, and I can work with not a wider range of clients, but a more specific population of clients just in a broader area, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that that really hammers home the whole point of this, actually, because I think you answered the question perfectly. So basically, if you can bring some more stuff to your online platform, you are the edge of the world is your limit, because
Exactly.
more people can contact you in a face-to-face manner, but it's just happening over the computer instead of you exercising by their side.
Correct. So the way online coaching for a lot of people just sounds so bizarre, and they don't understand how it works. Because when a lot of people think of online training, they'll think about like a Zoom call, and I would just watch them do a workout for 40 minutes. But that's not it. So
God,
what
that'd
would
be
happen
awkward.
yeah, and that happened a fair bit during COVID. I know a lot of trainers did that, but I couldn't think of anything worse. So I was like, no way. Sorry. That would be really awkward. So do you mind if I expand on the way online coaching would work?
Yeah,
Is
go
that
Please
for it.
do.
Yeah.
okay? So the way it would work would be to understand the client's goals first. So therefore, I would be able to write them a program that is structured around what they want to achieve. So it's like, do you want to get stronger so you can hold your baby up for longer? I don't know, you've got a kid on the way, so you want to develop a bit of upper body strength. So I would program their program around exercises that would help them achieve that. Okay, that's a very direct goal towards a lifestyle that they have. So understanding that's not like they could come to me and say, I just want to get stronger through my upper body, and I'd have to ask the questions of why to get that out of them. So that way I can deliver them the best program. From there, they would film their own exercises from home. So they might film one different set of each different exercise. They would send it to me so I can review it for them. Then I could send them back feedback on, right, this is how you can improve this exercise. Here's a video link to me performing it so you can see how you can improve on this certain technique, for instance. Then from there, we would have, I mentioned this before, but a weekly check-in where we discuss how was your training this week? Were you stressed out? How did you go hitting those weekly goals that we structured for you? If they were too difficult or demanding, how can we improve it for next week, etc., etc., etc. So it's not as straightforward as sitting down with someone and then going across a computer screen and then just say, hey, do this. It's more like saying, hey, we're going to put this structure in place for you. If it's too demanding, we can change it for next week. But we've tried to structure it around what's achievable for you so we can move forward and keep making progress week to week. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense for people.
Now that's awesome.
Yeah.
Instead of having a one size fits all approach to fitness, which a lot of people in the online community do, you have come up with a very personal approach from what it sounds, and it very good business model.
Yeah, personal.
Thank
and
you.
more and more, it sounds just like better in the long term, like you figured it out. Like yeah, no, that's great. So we are running I just want to let's get to you, and let's ask you what is your favorite, let's go favorite exercise?
Oh, it's harder than it sounds because I don't like hate anything, but I don't really love anything. I think, if I had to say one, it'd probably just be the chin up, I'd say. Just pulling one out of a hat. I've got a handful of ones that I like. Actually, I might touch on that quickly. There's a lot of controversy in the fitness industry that a lot of like people believe that a lot of trainers just love to exercise all the time. But no, mate. Oh, Easter time is the best time. Just like chilling out, eating so much chocolate. But nah. I don't really have like anything that I'm like, oh yes, I'm gonna do this exercise today. It's like, I've got to do this exercise today. That kind of approach.
That's actually amazing to hear. Thank you for that.
That's okay.
That's a nice behind the scenes to learn.
Yeah.
Um,
There's only the crazy people really love exercise. I promise.
Actually, yeah. I do remember there's something that you taught me that I have actually been like implementing. Because I've lost a lot of arm strength that I used to have. And so I've been doing a lot of reverse things that have actually been helping out a lot.
Perfect.
Doing like reverse chin ups and reverse push ups and stuff. They've actually been I've taken that one to heart pretty well.
Beautiful.
So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
So let's go to favorite song, favorite pump up song. What's your go to, or like album or something?
Remember the Name is just like an absolute classic. Artist though, I like to listen to a lot of NF. He pumps me up a fair bit, but Remember the Name just comes to mind so much as well, and Can't Be Touched by Roy Jones Jr. That's a good pump up song too.
Brilliant. Awesome. So we are coming close to the end now. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. This was actually an amazing talk. I feel like I've learned a lot. Before we go though, I want to ask, what is this could be personal, this could be about fitness, but what is some advice that you would part either from you or that someone has told you that you've taken to heart that's worked for you?
Okay, I'll keep it fitness related because that's the subject we're on. My advice would to be not to overcomplicate it. Anything you do is going to be better than doing nothing. So my advice would just to be to make a start, even if it's just a 10-minute walk a day. You're just getting your body moving and getting in the habit of doing something good for your health. So it doesn't have to be like a crazy run or anything. Just helping to get your body moving, doing something day to day that's going to be working towards your goal is so important. So don't overthink it. I know a lot of people overthink it and think they have to have everything perfect when they start. But I think just the small changes really make a huge impact.
Brilliant. What a perfect note to end it on. Keep it simple, people. So, where can we find you?
So the best place to find me would be my Instagram. It's at Royce Reid PT. And I've got YouTube as well. So it's just Royce Reid. But Instagram would be the best place to find me, as that's where I'm most active.
Brilliant, awesome. We'll have those definitely down in the bottom for you all, and at the end of the video. That's all the time we have. I would love to keep on talking with you. This has been amazing.
Well, thank you for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it, and I just appreciate getting my voice out there and what we do as trainers, because it's oftentimes overcomplicated and it's scary to a lot of people. So if you're ever worried about seeing a trainer and they actually do yell at you when you go into the session, don't go and see them again. Get someone that actually cares about you.
Brilliant. All right. Thank you so much for coming, Royce.
My pleasure.
This has been Cameron. That has been...
And Travis.
Awesome. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next episode, and bye.